Hey friends, so I started tracking my food again on July 1st after the crazy blood sugar debacle that happened in June that I mentioned. My blood sugar levels were plummeting and my doctor had to tweak my meds, but I got that under control now and I went back to keeping track of everything I was eating. So let's get started with that. But before I get into that, I want to say I joined a website a few days ago called Sparkpeople, and it's free. And I found it really cool because it has all these kinds of nutrition trackers and fitness trackers, and it's very inspirational and got a great community. But mainly, I was interested in the trackers. So I am not sponsored. I am not making money. I am not doing commercials. I just am a vlogger trying to share my journey, and I happen to like Spark People. This is not any kind of advertisement, but if you happen to be on Spark People, or if you get on Spark People because you want to take better care of yourself and you need a little help doing it, my name is Mackenzie1313 on that, so hit me up and friend me and we can share inspiration and encouragement together. So, as I said, I started again on July 1st, and I got a gorgeous haul from both the garden and the grocery store because I have a very small garden. So, no, I do not grow watermelons or cherries or anything like that. Uh, I did get from my garden things like loose leaf lettuce, spinach, lots of kale, lots of kale. I love kale, and lots of herbs like basil and stuff like that. I got, um, what else do we have? We have uh, cucumbers and crookneck squash. My tomatoes were not in yet, so I did get tomatoes from the grocery store. I get fruit mostly from the grocery store, so I went to Aldi's. I got asparagus, I got mangoes, kiwis, bananas. I got um, all kinds of, oh, the peppers are from the garden. I got sugar snap peas from the garden. I got watermelon, cantaloupe I had from the week before, Bing cherries. I also got a watermelon spare one sitting there waiting for it to be eaten, and some potatoes. I also have some nice garlic from the garden and onions from, I think, Sam's Club. Let's see what else. I got a bunch of avocados in a bag. I got a bunch of limes, and I got some carrots harvested, corn on the cob. Okay, so first order of business, making salads, and I put in some loose leaf lettuce, some spinach, some kale, basil, shredded carrot, yellow crooked squash is all chopped up in there, some sliced colorful bell peppers, sugar snap peas, grape tomatoes, sliced cucumbers, sliced onions, some parsley. I sprinkled on some cranberry and chopped pecan crumble. My son likes some shredded cheese in his, and he doesn't like tomatoes, so I put those together. And in some of mine, I put sliced black olives because I'm an olive lover. I make the big mixed salads and I divide them into these single serving containers and I stick them in the fridge, and they will last us um, 4 days or so for the three of us. Thankfully, my boys, they love their veggies. So that was lunch for that day, and for dinner, my son cooked, and he made these baked chicken breasts. He's made them in the past, frying them. I think he got them from Grandpa's Kitchen website. It's a great YouTube channel. I'll link below. And he always made them frying them, but this time he baked them, and they came out really good. And I made a nice avocado mash with some avocado and lime juice and garlic and stuff like that, and it came out really delicious as a topping for this instead of the usual spicy kind of mayonnaise topping, which has not good fat in it. So I swapped that out for the avocado, which has a better fat, and I had the asparagus, which is one of my favorite veggies, and some fresh corn on the cob on the side with just a little butter smeared on it, rolled in it, and a little sprinkling of salt. So next morning, I didn't want my cantaloupe from the week before to go bad, so I had that, and I had made myself the night before a nice overnight chocolate oatmeal porridge, and that's really easy to whip up. All you need are plain rolled oats. You don't have to do anything to them, cook them or anything. You just mix them in a bowl with equal amounts of some kind of liquid. I used chocolate almond milk, so I also added a heaping couple of tablespoons of dark chocolate cocoa powder, no sweetener or anything to it, and I mashed up some bananas, to sweeten the porridge, and I added in a little bit of yogurt to make it thicker and creamier. And I mixed this all. Oh yeah, and I put in a bunch of almond butter to give it a little bit more healthy fats and protein, and then I added some vanilla protein powder to give it an even bigger protein cake. And I had a lot. I made about 9 little containers that give you a full cup serving. And what I did was just I divided them into the containers and put them in the fridge. I had about 9 of them, so we had them for the rest of the week. And what happens is the oatmeal gets really soft and it almost takes on a pudding like consistency. It's really delicious. I just took it out of the fridge and I sprinkled on about an ounce of cornflakes to give it a little bit of a crunch. Or you could add fruit on top, or you could put syrup on top. You can make this with different flavorings. Like I like making it with like apples and apple pie seasonings and a little bit of maple syrup, things like that. You could just it's very versatile dish. For lunch that day, I got some nice lean roast beef slice at the store, so I had that with some of that leftover avocado mash, and I bought myself a bag of ultra thin sliced provolone cheese, which I love, and because it's ultra thin, it's just enough cheese to give you that satisfaction if you're a cheese lover without overdoing the fat and stuff. And I had it on a multigrain seeded bread with my salad that I put a little bit of my fat free dressing on it, and I shook it up with the cover on, and then it just distributes the dressing nicely and mixes up the salad that way. And that cup is a roasted red pepper tomato soup. So I had a really hearty lunch. Now, for dinner, I wasn't really that hungry, and I was really, really tired because my sleep cycle had been all messed up. So I woke up and I was kind of peckish, and I had a little plate of fruit because my blood sugar was low, but I wasn't really that hungry, and I figured fruit would just get it up. Next day, July 3rd, I woke up. I was really kind of hungry, and I had been sleeping really weird hours, and I had myself a slice of sprouted wheat bread with some of that leftover roast beef and melted on a nice slice of that provolone, and had a big green smoothie that's stuffed with things like frozen triple berry mix and kale and watermelon juice and spinach and all kinds of yummies. For dinner, I had myself one of those delicious salads, and I made myself a big tray of um, sort of frittata, if you will, but or crustless quiche. I mixed up eggs, but for every, I think I used 6 full eggs and then 6 egg whites. So for every egg with a yolk I used one just the white, and that cuts down some of the fat. And I had roasted some beautiful crookneck squash and asparagus and peppers, and I put these all in there, and I put some sliced not tomatoes, potatoes in there that I microwaved just a little bit, and then I chopped them up and I browned them in a pan with a little bit of nonstick spray and threw them in there. It came out really, really good. I sprinkled a little bit of cheese on top just to give it a little more satisfaction. And that night I went to the gym, and when I got out, I just had myself a protein bar. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, you're not eating enough. And it's true, I was not. But my sleep cycle was messed up. My eating cycle was still messed up from the couple of days. It had only been a couple of days since the big blood sugar debacle. And then on top of that, I was just not feeling too good about it all. So, yeah. And day after that is when I started tracking with the Spark pages, and that's when I was really able to make sure I was getting enough calories and enough macronutrients and balance my nutrition. So for the next day, July 4th, I started out the day with my usual coffee and a nice chocolate nut butter banana oatmeal porridge, and I had a nice healthy serving of alfalfa mango and Bing cherries. And for lunch, I had my leftovers asparagus, squash, crustless quiche, and a nice small garden salad that time. And then I went on to dinner. I had my go-to Wasa multigrain crisp breads, which I smeared on some delicious homemade hummus. And what I love about homemade hummus is you don't have to put fat in it. You don't have to put olive oil in it. You just add a little broth or something and give it tons of flavor with seasonings. So you can totally omit the fat. And I know fat's good, which is why I had avocados with it, but yeah, I had some roasted red peppers on it too. So it was a delicious dinner. For snacks that day, aside from my allotted 3 cups of coffees that I spread throughout the day, I also put some protein powders in my coffee, some vanilla protein powders, because I had switched to a fat free half and half. And I wasn't like the flat flavor of the fat free half and half. It just wasn't as rich and creamy as regular full fat half and half. So putting a little bit of protein powder in there, vanilla protein powder, gave it a nice flavor, and it's really good. And on top of it, it gives me a little bit more of a protein kick, which I needed. And I had a couple of sugar free ice pops in the evening before retiring. Next day, I started the day with my leftover asparagus squash, no crust quiche. I actually finished it, and it had, I had the last pieces that had fallen apart when we were putting them into the container, so they don't look as pretty, but it was just as delicious. And I had some grapes on the side because I love a little something sweet when I eat my breakfast. For lunch, I had that fat-free hummus that I had. I had a couple of servings, and I had a healthy plate full of just raw cut up veggies because I was really in the mood for just dipping them in the hummus. And I also threw a few tortilla chips on there too because I love my tortilla chips. Now, when dinner came along, I went for a veggie burger. I had frozen veggie burgers, the box kind, not homemade. And I had it on a slice of toasted Ezekiel sprouted wheat bread, and I topped it with 1 slice of that delicious ultra thin provolone cheese and slapped on some homemade tomato sauce that I had made with all kinds of garlic and peppers in it. It was good stuff. And I also added a little bit of like lettuce and tomatoes, and it was a really yummy dinner. For snacks that day, I had a protein bar after I went to the gym. Now we're on Monday, July 6th, so we're on day 6, and for some really weird reason, I was so out of it. I didn't take pictures, and the one picture that I did take of the thing I made turned out like this. So screw that. I'm just going to tell you what I had. My sleep cycle was so screwed up. I had one of my chocolate nut butter banana oatmeal porridge thingies with a bunch of cherries in my coffee, and then I did not eat lunch because I think I was taking a nap or I felt like crap or something. For dinner, I made a delicious dinner because I was really hungry, so I sauteed some ground turkey, 93% lean until it was brown, and then I drained all the fat out of it, and then I sauteed in some cooking spray green bell peppers. I'm sorry, not green, red and yellow bell peppers, and I added onions and garlic and some sliced zucchini, and it was just delicious, nice stir fry. And I mixed that with the turkey, and I added a little bit of mozzarella cheese and a little bit of Parmesan cheese and some homemade marinara sauce, and I stuffed them in a green bell pepper and I baked them, and they came out really good, and I had it with some spaghetti on the side. So it was a really nice hearty meal. According to my tracker, it was like 800 calories, so it was probably one of the biggest meals I ate that week. But it satisfied after skipping lunch. And then after I went to the gym, I came home and I was very peckish, so I picked on some pretzel sticks, and then I picked on some mango, and then I had a protein bar because my blood sugar was low again, and I had some of my coffee with my protein powder in it, and I rounded out the day almost 1,700 calories, which is pretty good. I think that's the highest I went this week. Normally, I stay closer to between 1,200 and 1,400. And even that, I have to force myself to eat because when you eat healthier food, for some reason, it fills you so much more that you don't want to eat as much. Whereas junk food seems to click on the hunger switch. What's that about? I don't understand. The more junk food you eat, the hungrier you get. The more healthy food you eat, the fuller you get. So you don't want to eat as much, even though you're eating less than you should. It's one of those weird paradoxes of life. Moving on to the next day, I woke up and I found some more of my crustless quiche, So I smeared some ketchup all over it because I am an egg and ketchup lover, and I ate that for breakfast. And then for dinner, I had some of my turkey stuffing that I made for the peppers, but I didn't have them in the peppers. I just scooped them onto the Aldi's Love and Fresh zero net carbs bread, which I really love. I toasted the bread and I just heated up the turkey in a bowl, and I put about 3 ounces split between the two slices of bread, and I made myself kind of an open sloppy Joe style sandwich. And then I skipped breakfast that day. Did I say that? Yeah, the first my sleep cycle was really bad. I got to talk about that. But yeah, I had mangoes and I had a protein bar at some point for my snacks, and that was good for the day. Day 8, Wednesday, I woke up and I did a little better. I did have my 3 meals and my snacks. I had my Wassa multigrain bread and I smeared on it some yogurt, and I had my kiwis and I had my grapes. I had a nice breakfast. For lunch, I took a can of tuna and I drained it and I mixed it up with some mashed avocados and lime juice, and I threw in some chopped onions, and I had some lettuce and tomato with that, and that was a really nice lunch. And for dinner, my son was really in the mood for pizza, so we got one of those cauliflower crust pizzas, and I had the pepperoni kind. Uh, Mama Cozy, I think, is the name. And I had slightly bigger portion. I think the portions were supposed to be a quarter of a pie, but since there's 3 of us, we each had like a third of the pie, and nothing that was a big deal. And I had a great big one of my salads from the garden with some fat-free Italian salad dressing. And then I went to the gym and I came home and I had a couple of sugar-free popsicles, but then I took my blood sugar before I went to bed and it was kind of low. It was like 80. And I said, no, I just took my pills. It's probably not a good idea to go to bed with my blood sugar at 80. So I actually ate some tortilla chips with mango salsa and a little bit of yogurt on it. And that brings us to what was yesterday for me. That is the final day. And I again had issues with sleeping and woke up. First meal of the day was around noon or 1 o'clock, and it was a big green smoothie I made with kale and spinach I got from the garden. I threw a bunch of watermelon and frozen mixed berries in there, a little bit of Greek yogurt, some lemon balm, really delicious. I had a really big serving of it. And for dinner, I had a lovely pink salmon that I sprinkled with lemon pepper seasonings and garlic powder, and had some corn on the cob on the side with a little bit of butter rubbed on there with salt, and nice big thing of salad, sweet Vidalia onion salad dressing. I went to the gym and had a pure protein bar as soon as I got out. For snacks that day, I had a thing of my almond nut thins and some nut butter, I think almond butter. And of course, I had my coffees that day. I put some protein powder in the coffees. And that brings us to today, which I will get to the next time I review what I ate. But this is getting a little long, so I'm going to call it a close. But I want to say, as usual, thanks for listening and thanks for watching. And I will see you soon. And until then, stay healthy.